page. Amazingly, Yuher remembers the entire incident.
I didn't black out from it at all. It kind of just made me freeze in place, and I just knew it was not going to be good. And then felt like maybe a 5-6 second freeze, and then that's when I just saw myself slowly falling.
Says he broke 3 bones in his leg, broke his right hand, and suffered 4 fractured vertebrae in his spine. Doctors expect him to make a full recovery. A Fairfield County man is in custody after allegedly deliberately driving his car into a hospital entrance, killing 1 person and injuring another. According to the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, 44-year-old Raymond Linedecker had undergone a psychological evaluation at the hospital Friday morning before driving a pickup truck into the emergency entrance at Diley Ridge Medical Center in Canal Winchester. He's currently being held on a $5 million bail. Ohioans may soon see self-driving cars on the roads. Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman say the state has received $17.8 million to help generate data on self-driving vehicles. The funds come mostly through the Ohio Department of Transportation, with testing set to begin in the coming months and continue over 4 years.
And hello, I am Adelaide Carwish, your local forecaster for today, and let me tell you, it is quite hot outside. Right now it is 87 degrees with humidity at 44%, which makes it feel like it's 90 degrees. It's all over the place. It is just one of those days that you just have to deal with the hotness as you're walking to class, as you're walking to work. It's just one of those days. All around the local area, it's definitely just all around the local area is pretty bad. And as the weeks come by, it's gonna get colder actually, but not too much cold. We won't really see those fall-like weathers until maybe well into next week, and it's gonna be quite nice as well as the rain. There will be no rain this week, and throughout everything, it's gonna be all right. And Ben, I literally want to say that throughout Athens, it's going to be quite nice, but we won't get any rain, and the start of fall is this weekend, and we really won't get much anything. So,
thank you, Adelaide. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that fall weather to come into here. Looking forward to the rest of your forecast, though. Thank you. The Ohio Board of Elections is making last-minute efforts to keep voter registrations from being canceled. Thousands of notices have been sent to warn these Ohio residents. Many of those were sent to voters in Athens County. WOUB reporter Anna Hoffman has more on what this voting purge means and the steps Athens residents can take to keep their registrations active.
4 years ago, thousands of residents across Ohio's 88 counties received warnings that their voter registration is at the risk of becoming inactive. 2,366 of those notices were sent to people in Athens County. One Athens resident thinks people's lives can make it a challenge to re-register.
They got busy and they got overwhelmed. I think it's a loss to our community not to have their additional votes.
Ohio voters are in danger of having their registrations canceled if they have either not reported an address change or failed to cast a ballot in over 4 years. The Ohio Board of Elections sent their next warning to 1/4 of the names on the original purge list in July. This notice alerted residents that they have until September 6th to take the necessary steps to renew their registration.
If you are really serious about voting and want to vote, wouldn't you vote one time in 4 years to keep that registration up to date?
Debbie believes residents are given plenty of warning about their removal from the voter rolls. She says staying on the rolls is pretty straightforward.
All they have to do is re-register. All you do is re-register, and if you want to stay registered, then vote.
In Athens County, a total of 105 voters decided to take action and renew their registration. For WOUB News, I'm Anna Hoffman.
More than 2,000 voters had their registration canceled in Athens County. If you're one of them, you can go to the Board of Elections office located on Court Street or fill out a form on their website to re-register or register a new voter. Monday, October 7th is the final day to register to vote in the November 5th election. Ohio's corn farmers are seeing their lowest yield since 2008. According to USDA statistician Cheryl Turner, farmers statewide grew just over 400 million bushels of corn this year, a 34% decrease compared to last year. The low numbers come as a result of wet conditions, leaving around 1 in every 7 acres in the state unplanted, the lowest in the nation. In total, the United States is expected to see a decrease of 4.3% in corn production compared to last year. The Ohio Department of Education has released this year's school report cards. Athens County school districts received C and D ratings overall. Federal Hocking Local, Nelsonville York, and Trimble Local all received Fs in the Prepared for Success category. All the schools except Trimble Local received either A's or B's in the graduation category. Trimble Local performed the worst out of all the districts with either D's or F's in all categories. For more information on the report cards, go to the Ohio Department of Education's website. Members of the Athens community gathered Saturday morning to commemorate Christopher C. Davis. Davis was a black farmhand and father of 2 who was lynched in Athens in 1881. Soil was collected during the ceremony from the approximate site under the Richland Bridge where Davis was killed. The soil will be sent to the Legacy Museum and Memorial in Montgomery, Alabama. President of Mount Zion Baptist Church Preservation Society, Cherry Hendricks, says she hopes that remembering Davis's story will help the community to move forward.
It is my fervent and unyielding dream that as we heal this breach by looking back so that we can move forward, because it is not taboo to go back and fetch that which is at risk of being left behind, so we can move forward as a whole and complete healed community.
Clarence Page has become the second Ohio alum to receive the Carl Van Anda Award. It's the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism's highest honor, recognizing its outstanding work by journalists during their careers. Page is a columnist published in papers across the country by Tribune Media Services. He's also a member of the Tribune's editorial board and a regular contributor to political TV shows on NBC, ABC, and BET. At the ceremony, Page discussed his career and defended what some consider the over-coverage of President Donald Trump by the media.
I think it would be very interesting to see the media boycott Donald Trump. I know it's not going to happen, though, because people in the media are human, believe it or not, and we care about what's going on, too, and there's competition. If we don't cover the story, somebody else will.
Page has also been inducted into the Chicago Journalism Hall of Fame, and he continues to write at his home in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. Coming up, GM workers across the country walk out in strike, and oil prices are rising across the globe. Find out why when Newswatch returns. Tens of thousands of General Motors workers are on strike. The United Auto Workers Union walked out at dozens of GM facilities last night and today. It's the largest work stoppage by any union against any American business since the last strike at GM in 2007. But now the two sides are finally talking. Karen Kafa has what could be in the deal.
The United Auto Workers Union striking against General Motors Sunday night, walking out at dozens of GM factories and facilities in 9 states, including Michigan.
My father was here and his uncle before him. 3 generations. I have children, and my children will have children, and I want this place to still be around for them.
The union says GM is putting profits ahead of its people, many of whom weathered the company's struggles in 2008 and 2009, bankruptcy and a government bailout. GM says it has made an offer that would boost worker pay and make a $7 billion investment in preserving thousands of jobs, in addition to offering a solution for 2 plants slated for closure, one in Detroit and one in Lordstown, Ohio. The union says saving jobs is key to the talks.
Has always been a priority for the UAW to sustain job security in any one of our agreements, and we are going to continue to have those discussions.
Democratic Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan has 2 GM plants in her district.
I think everyone wants to get to a deal, right? People don't want to be out of work. They don't want to be on strike. They want to be negotiating and getting to some conclusion. I was thrilled to see that the parties were meeting again today.
Any deal between the union and GM will set the tone for upcoming contract conversations with Ford and Fiat Chrysler. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The strike shut down 33 manufacturing plants in 9 states across the U.S., as well as 22 parts distribution warehouses. Oil prices are rising globally following an attack on Saudi Arabian oil production. Following the attack, oil prices surged by as much as 18% in the United States. Prices went back down after President Trump said he authorized the use of oil from the country's emergency oil supply. Trump said oil from the reserve would be used to keep the markets well supplied. In a press conference, the Saudi Arabian government blamed Iran for the attack, but did not provide details on the weapons used. Purdue Pharma has filed for bankruptcy. The bankruptcy is the first step for the drug company in a multi-billion-dollar plan to settle thousands of lawsuits brought against it by state and local governments. The lawsuits say Purdue Pharma, owned by the Sackler family, is responsible for the nation's opioid crisis. But some people, like Denise Spence, whose son died of an opioid overdose, doesn't think the lawsuit delivers justice.
I think justice would be them losing their company and losing their money. Will it be justice for me? I don't know. I mean, nothing's going to bring Timmy back.
The Sackler family says they're working toward a global resolution for the matter. They've also offered nearly $5 billion and part of future revenue from its drug sales. A Texas man works to bring water to the Bahamas after a Category 5 hurricane. That story's still ahead.
And next on Newswatch, I'll be talking about the weather. It's still going to be hot and will be fall be around the corner. Now here's the stats of your local interest. Hello, I am forecaster Adelaide Carwish, and today we're going to talk about still the hot weather here. And right now, it is 87 degrees right now in Athens, Ohio. Feels like 90. It's still very hot outside. 44% of the humidity, winds of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're going to move on to southeastern Ohio in general. Everywhere, it's Athens at 87. New Lexington at 86, Columbus at 84, and even Ripley hitting 92 degrees, all sunny and clear all around the area. So it's very hot outside. Tonight we'll cool down to a nice 63 degrees. It will be a low chance of rain, but it will be quite a nice night. Winds to the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So it will be quite a nice night if you want to take a nice little night walk. It will be nice. And even all around, it's going to be quite nice. Columbus at 62, Ripley at 65, New Lexington at 61. So all in the low to mid 60s for tonight. Tomorrow, all around the area, Athens at 84, Columbus at 84 as well, Chillicothe at 84, so mostly in the 80s. I mean, Ripley gets 88, but we do cool down just a little bit that it makes it tolerable to go outside and sort of enjoy the Athens area, because it will be a beautiful day tomorrow. We take a look at tomorrow morning's precip map moving forward, and you can see the hurricane down there, and it's again pretty clear from all over the area. It's pretty clear. There's some rain in West Virginia and Virginia, and tomorrow evening time you can see that low pressure system start to move down. It's going to move down. You can still see the hurricane all the way in your corner there, and you can just see the Athens area and Ohio in general just perfectly clear. Really nothing in the area whatsoever, and really it's really definitely, and we looked at a Wednesday here and we push it out that way, and it's perfectly clear. It's just one of those clear days that you just want to go outside and enjoy your time here. And really Wednesday, like I said, and let's take a look at your 7-day outlook here. Again, Tuesday 84, 58 is the low. So we started a little bit cooler at night with the lows in the 50s now. And Wednesday and Thursday definitely looking like, and you just looked at the clear days throughout and once the weekend comes along, Friday night, it's going to be a little bit cooler. That 58 degrees is the low, so make sure if you're going out any of these nights to bring a little jacket. Sunday and Saturday, the weekend looks good. Monday definitely is when you start to see the chance of rain start to rise up, and we're going to have a rainy week next week. And I'll send it back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Adelaide. It has been just 2 weeks since a Category 5 hurricane pounded the Bahamas, and those who are on the island are still feeling the aftermath. Many residents are still homeless and without food or clean water, but one Texas man has a plan to use his water harvesting machine to bring water to the Bahamas, the same way he brought it to Flint, Michigan. Chris Davis has the story.
Become a part of the neighborhood now.
Leave it to a Texan to deal with a lack of water.
Is that one topped off?
Moses West brought his water harvesting machine to Flint to provide a fresh, free supply.
Hey, keep going, keep going.
Families there are still dealing with lead in their pipes.
They go to it whenever they need. They've got all the drinking water they need.
We reached Moses via FaceTime because he's in Wisconsin building the next generation of machines. He's a veteran from San Antonio and developed this concept in part at Camp Mabry.
You see those clouds behind me? That's a lake. That's a lake that's passing by behind me.
He wants to tap into that for the Bahamas, like he did in Puerto Rico. The higher the humidity and temperature, the better the machine works.
Keep going. You're good.
It's getting colder in Flint, so people there are stocking up on water for the winter.
We're down to the Bahamas. That's like going downhill in a go-kart.
He wants to take this machine to the islands by the end of the month.
This is a long-term recovery for the people there. And one of the stressors that they do not need to have is the lack of clean water.
From Flint, Michigan, hang loose.
And I'm now joined by our WOUB Sports Director, Thomas Garverick, here to talk about an exciting past weekend of Ohio sports. Thomas?
Yeah, Ben, Ohio volleyball, 3 games in the combo, and then Ohio soccer had a couple games. We'll have highlights of that. Plus, right after the break, Ohio and Marshall go head-to-head in Huntington for the right to claim the bell. Sound from Nathan Rourke and Frank Solich when Newswatch returns. Stay tuned to WAB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station. Welcome back. I'm Thomas Garverick. Ohio and Marshall, a rivalry renewed. It was a hostile environment in Huntington Saturday night. The 60th edition of the Battle for the Bell lived up to the hype. Fortunately, highlights aren't taken right now. It was a phenomenal game for Ohio and Marshall. Ohio and Marshall, they went back and forth early in the first half, exchanging touchdown drives. Ohio trailed 27-17 at the half. Nathan Rourke and Ohio would storm back. Rourke threw a touchdown in the third quarter that would break the record for his 83rd career touchdown. That's the most in school history. And then Rourke actually had a 70-yard touchdown in the game to give Ohio the late lead in the fourth quarter. But ultimately, Marshall drove down the field. They got a touchdown to Xavier Gaines to take the lead. Marshall ended up winning that game 33-31. And after the game, Nathan Rourke and Frank Solich both acknowledged the fact that Ohio's defense got off to a really slow start in this one, and Coach Frank Solich certainly was not pleased with his team's performance defensively in that first half. And Nathan Rourke talked about the offense getting off to a slow start, and hopefully they kind of build upon that for the next game against Louisiana coming up on Saturday. But unfortunately for Ohio, they're back at practice today. Look for some content for Curtis Rourke. Nathan's younger brother will have a story about Nathan breaking the record later on this week. Meanwhile, back in Athens, it was home sweet home for the Ohio volleyball team over the weekend. Ohio welcomed the College of Charleston, UConn, and Virginia to the combo as part of the Bobcat Invitational, and unfortunately don't have highlights of that for you as well. Ohio took on the College of Charleston in game one. Ohio was able to sweep them in 3 sets, and then Ohio later that night on Friday, they played UConn. And in that game, Southern Illinois transfer Maggie Denoma dominated that one, 13 spikes. Sweep number 2 for Ohio. And then game number 3, going for the sweep trifecta against Virginia. Ohio got the job done. Ohio, big weekend for them. 3 sweeps. Big weekend for the Ohio volleyball team. And again, unfortunately, no soundbite there from Coach Dean Webb. Dean talked about how he was very pleased with his team's defensive performance. And then later on, the Ohio soccer team, they took on Robert Morris on Friday. Unfortunately, we're not going to have highlights of that game as well. But the team, they were 5-0 entering that game on Friday night. And They weren't able to beat Robert Morris. The game went into double overtime. Robert Morris scored a goal in that game. That's all the time I got for you now. I'm Thomas Garvick, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Thomas. This weekend was perfect weather for the 21st Annual Paw Paw Festival in Albany, Ohio. These photos of the festivities were shot by our visuals team. Each year, the festival features events like the biggest Paw Paw contest and cook-offs using paw paws as ingredients. Did you attend the festival? We would love to see your photos. Tweet us at outlet_WOUB. And now let's head back to Adelaide Carwish for a final look at our weather.
And hello, I'm Adelaide Carwish here. And the final look at weather here. Tomorrow in Athens, it is 84 degrees, a sun cloud mix. It's quite nice out. Winds to the north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's quite nice. It's going to be a partly cloudy day. It's really just looking good. We'll take a look at your 7-day outlook. And I said for Tuesday, it's going to be looking quite nice. Wednesday, Thursday, it's just really a fantastic week of just sun, a little bit of clouds here and there, but especially Thursday and Friday, if you're going out during the day for classes and work, it's going to be beautiful. You might as well take a walk if you really want to. Though at night, it's going to be there. In the weekend, will be all nice as well, but Monday, you're going to start to see some rain. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Adelaide. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.